Okay guys, let's go over a review of the rationalizing and simplifying. Remember when we look at these, the big rule is you can't leave any kind of a square root in the bottom. So our focus has to be on getting rid of that. So first of all, if I look at the bottom of this problem, if I took that and did menu 2, 3, it would factor to 3 and 5. It's not prime, so I have to think about what that would look like. Now we know that we want to look at what's on the bottom and make sure we have pairs for anything that's underneath the radical or the square root so we can get rid of it. So if I look at this, if I want to set up my fraction for what I'm going to multiply, I know I have a 3 and a 5. So I have to have pairs of each. So I need one more 3 and one more 5. So to across the bottom here, I'll have a pair of 3s and a pair of 5s. Remember also, whatever you do the bottom, you have to do the top. So that means I'm going to do 3 times 5 up here. So our job is to get it into one fraction together with one radical. So in the top, I have 2 3s and a 5. Remember, in order from smallest to biggest. On the bottom, I'm going to take these and put them in order. So I have 2 3s and 2 5s. So now I'm looking for pairs. So here's one pair, here's another, and here's another. Now the good news in the bottom is that I don't have anything that doesn't have a pair. So eventually that's going to be able to simplify. So I have a pair of 3s and a pair of 5s, so that's what's left in the bottom. On the top, I have a pair of 3s, and I have square root of 5 that doesn't have a partner. Now the only thing I would say before I even multiply is I can see how those could cancel. Because they both have, they are both whole numbers out in the front. So square root of 5 over 5 is going to be my final answer. Okay, now on B, I can see that I'm going to have to focus on this bottom number. So my radical is the square root of 11. 11's prime, so no way can I break that down. But I would need another 11 to make it pairs. So I'm going to have to multiply by the square root of 11 over the square root of 11. Now we need to take them and put them into one fraction. So 5 square root of 11 on the top. And on the bottom there are 2 11s. And I can tell here's a pair. So 5 square root of 11 stays, no pairs or anything there. The bottom is just going to be 11 because I have this one pair of 11s here underneath the radical. And that's my final answer. Now, I wanted to give you one that was just a little bit different, that had a number in the front of the radical and then a number underneath. So first of all, when I start, remember, I don't care what's on the top. I'm focused on this radical on the bottom. So the first thing that I need to do in this problem is take the radicals and factor them. Now this one doesn't factor at all. 11's prime. But I know if I do menu 2, 3 with that piece in the bottom, 22 is going to be 2 times 11. Now I need to have pairs of things that are underneath the radical, not in front, underneath. So I would need another 2 and I would need another 11 for them to be able to have partners in the bottom. Now remember, whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do the top. So now we need to take ours and be able to get all of this together. So 5's the only number in front. Underneath, I have a 2 and 2 11s. Notice I put them in order from smallest to biggest. Keep that in mind. On the bottom, I'm going to do the same thing. 3 out in front, and then 2 2s and 2 11s. So now I'm looking for pairs. So I have a pair here, and a pair here. Our job was to get rid of the radical on the bottom, and we did, because there's a 3 that's out in front, and because there's a pair of 2's underneath the radical, you're going to get a 2 there, and there's a pair of 11, so I'm going to get 11 there. So on the bottom, that's what I have left. On the top, I have a 5 in front. I have a pair of 11, so one 11 goes in the front, and I have a square root of 2 that is stuck underneath because it doesn't have a partner. Now the only thing that I might talk about is that these 11s are both whole numbers and could cancel. So if I look at what's left over, on the top I have 5 square root of 2. On the bottom I just have 3 times 2, which is going to be 6. And that's going to be my final answer.